Alrighty. Let's see. Starting five is here. Oh, God, the lighting is tough. Is the starting five back to normal? Let me see, and I'll type in the chat. Let's see. It is back to normal. It is. There you go. This is only the second time we've seen the starting five this season so far. That's kind of nuts.
I know. You
Second
just
time all
haven't been
year.
lucky.
No, second time all year the Celtics have been fully healthy outside of obviously Gallinari, which is kind of crazy. And I mean, everybody in the NBA is dealing with injuries, obviously, right? Like the Bucks have been dealing with stuff. The Sixers have dealt with stuff. Everybody deals with injuries, but I feel like it kind of goes understated just how injured the Celtics have been this season in terms of like, because I don't think they haven't had many long-term injuries, right? Like a Middleton or a Harden or a Curry or like big stretches like that. Like this Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart one was probably their worst of the season. But like even before that, it was just little things killing them, right? Like they wouldn't have one piece of the starting five, and the next another person would be hurt. So like to have the whole group together, I feel like is very important. John is in here. Hello. My dad with the fist bumps. Welcome back. Nick saying the Pacers are ready. I think the Pacers will be ready. They're probably going to be looking for a playoff push here, and the Celtics are hoping to get off strong. Pacers, after the hot start, Tyrese Haliburton went down, and they struggled mightily. They are now 2.5 games out of the 10 seed. So Pacers fell off a cliff a little bit there without Haliburton.
I know. That was funny. Not funny, but like kind of crazy how they were like
how impactful he
legitimately
is.
being talked about, and they were a threat, and they were kind of deep, like sneaky deep, and then he went out and it kind of fell apart. Now, that is very much a testament to him being excellent. But
he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Nick saying Turner on Tatum. I don't think so. I think they'll probably have Neesmith guard Tatum like last time. Turner will probably guard one of the big men.
Turner
if I had to guess,
Tatum would be something.
Yeah, I doubt that. Pacers play really small. Last time they played the Celtics, and they did well. Last time they played the Celtics, they rolled out a starting lineup of, I think it was like Haliburton, Nembhard, Neesmith, Buddy, Hield, Turner. So there is that. I don't know. And Jimmy J looking for a 22-0 end of the season.
I agree.
I don't know about that.
I agree.
I don't know about that. John asking for news on Will Barton. I don't think there's much. I haven't seen anything. I don't know if you have, but I don't know.
We just know he's been bought out. They didn't even list a
interesting team.
Yeah, like there's no like odds on contending teams for Will Barton. You got nothing.
Yeah. Nothing yet. If I had to bet, I think they go to Tony Snell. I think Tony Snell might be being groomed to be the 15th man after he was signed in Maine. That's just a guess, though.
I got to tell you, what are you going to do? It's the most important decision ever.
Yeah, very important, right? We know that it's going to be filled, though, which is what I think drives some of the intrigue. Like, it's going to happen, so it's just a matter of who it'll be. But I don't know. Phil here saying it's been years. It has been a minute. We've been dropping podcasts, like though. Years. There have been a few pods. You can go catch up.
Podcasts. A lot of people have seen them. A lot of people showing love.
Landon saying decades. Matt in here saying home and away with the Knicks coming up. Yep. We talked about this in the pod. I think this next stretch for the Celtics is going to be very important. This next 7 or so games. Matt in with the fist bumps. It all starts tonight though with this Pacers game. Like I was saying, it's first time the Celtics have been healthy in a long, long time. Starting Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, Robert Williams. I'm more intrigued to see what they do off the bench because you have Derek White who plays super well. He's been playing red hot. Malcolm Brogdon, a couple hot performances. Heading into the All-Star break. Grant Williams there as your really wing / big off the bench. You have Hauser who is shooting well. You got some important decisions to make on rotations if you're Joe Mazzulla. No longer the interim head coach, Joe Mazzulla, full-time head coach Joe Mazzulla.
Good for him.
Yes. Thank you very much, Landon. Jimmy J saying he's heard Philly wants Barton. Doesn't surprise me. I feel like any playoff team would be happy to have Barton. I've seen some Celtics fans hating on Barton, which I don't fully understand, right? Like he's not perfect, obviously, but I mean, as a guy who's probably going to play max 10 minutes a night, if that, it would be hard to go wrong. I'll put it that way. I don't think he can have many bad options. Jimmy J saying
a lot of pressure on you if you join as a 15th man.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Jimmy J saying Beverly went to the Bulls. Not sure why. It's hometown team. I think each wanted to go home, play for the team he grew up supporting, which makes sense. I mean,
Patrick Beverly, who rules, by the way.
Did you see?
He's
Referencing his
just
Lakers
going
comment?
off like talking about the Lakers. Like, yep, now we got him twice for the rest of the season. It's beat LA for me.
Fire.
Patrick Beverley, who played very well against the Celtics at the Garden.
He did.
Big plays, busted out the camera. He's fantastic.
Very funny.
I don't get why people hate him. Like, I get that he's like a loudmouth, but he's fire. He's funny. Mm-hmm. What are you hating on Pat Bev for? There are like better villains in the NBA than Pat Bev.
He's entertaining for sure. Nick saying Pacers are a lock. Buddy and Haliburton are all-stars. I don't know about Buddy Hield.
Halliburton for sure was. He played in the
Haliburton's
game.
Great. He did. Pacers, I mean, -9. I wouldn't. Pacers are +8 on DraftKings. I don't hate that. I think it could be a close game unless the Celtics take care of business, which you kind of hope they do. I do worry a little bit, not in the long term, but in the short term, about the Celtics offense with the starting five. You know it can be good because they showed it last year, but really this year the offense has been infinitely better with Derek White or Malcolm Brogdon on the floor rather than double bigs. This isn't saying like I don't think they should start Robin out together in the starting lineup. I voiced my not concerns, but saying, okay, maybe Derek White should be starting, but it's hard to bench the starting five that worked so well last season. So I'm not going to sit here and say they shouldn't, but I do worry the offense could get a little stalled without the extra shooting on the floor. But we'll see what happens. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they find their rhythm early and then kind of, send in the pieces to make it work throughout the game. Phoenix saying, I've come here to sing the praises of Derek White. Dude is amazing. I've been saying it. We've been saying it. We've been saying
Jack was very much on the train for Derek White early in the season. He has listed him as a all defensive team lock.
I believe that. I think so. He
should be. Should make one of them.
Absolutely.
I think it's fair. A lot of blocks for a guard. Tons of blocks. Also excellent in the starting lineup. Excellent when they were just playing with the skeleton crew. 27-12 against the Bucks. That's crazy. That's your sixth man or seventh man.
Yeah, he's
when you're healthy. If you have your ideal starting five, he's coming off your bench.
I think the Celtics have at least two, starting caliber players on a title team on their bench, and arguably 3 with Grant, depending on where you want to put him.
I think it's fair, but it is just funny. I love that Grant's always in. He's always in it. He definitely is a.
He deserves to be in. I wrote
a
whole article about Grant the other day for Celtics blog. If you'd like to go read it and check it out, I tweeted it out. Effectively my argument is that yes, there have been mistakes, but I think those mistakes are all part of his growth as a player. Right. Like, he's obviously not going to be perfect. This is the first season he's really had that freedom to work and drive closeouts and shoot on the move. And there's going to be some bumps and roads. I was saying, how he should be, celebrated for that growth and not shot down. And obviously there have been mistakes, and I pointed them out, and I tweeted it out, and everyone was just like, well, he's not doing this. I said, if you read the article, I said that. I said all this, but you're just going to complain about the tweet. Yeah. And Phoenix saying, I don't know about Grant about a starting caliber player. He's a rotation piece.
The reason why Grant's the best is because when he messes up, it's so grand and it's so obvious and it's in a hysterical way to where
that everybody
notices.
Yes.
But when he does like the good things, it's just what he's supposed to do. And he's standing in the corner and he's making threes. And he's doing a great job, but really it's not like flashy or anything. But when he's messing up, it's because he's trying to be flashy, and it's just the best.
Yeah, and no one cares. And my thing about this is, and I'm not trying to like pick on you specifically because I've seen it a lot. I think that like 2 months ago, everyone would say absolutely pay Grant $18 million. He's great, but because he had a rough stretch for like a month or so, everyone's like, he's the worst player in the world.
Grant is Big Baby in 2009 when KG got hurt. That's what Grant is.
Sure.
But he's probably better because he can shoot threes. But in today's game, he's the equivalent of what Big Baby gave that team in the playoffs. Big Baby, by the way, who made a game winner in a playoff game at the buzzer. So that's some high praise for Grant.
And this is fair. Phoenix saying, I might be talking out of pure ignorance, but the only time I watched it is when Derek White exploded against Milwaukee. And in Grant's defense, that was a disaster final play. I'm not excusing it. He played really good for the entire rest of the game.
Good defense.
He was great for the rest of the game. And I saw a lot of people saying, what's it called? A lot of people said, oh, he played 47 minutes, only put up 12 points. That's a disaster. No, that's not
I
how
wish I
things
could score
work.
12 points.
Yeah, he had a
Ever.
12.10 rebound double and played well against Giannis. And exactly what Jimmy J is saying, he's needed for the Bucks matchup. He defends
Agreed.
Giannis so well, and people don't talk about it. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't picking on you, Phoenix. I see it a lot on Celtics Twitter. You'd be surprised. Told you check goes up and down a couple million each game. I've said this a bunch of times, and Landon, you listen to the pods. I'm sure you've heard me say this. I think Grant Williams is a $20 million player in the right situation. I just don't think that situation is the Celtics. Like I think for the Celtics, the right price is probably around 15 to 18. But like if the Pacers gave him 20 million to be a part of their starting five next to Turner, next to Haliburton, I think he'd fit in perfectly, right? And he could be a starting caliber player on a playoff team. It's tough when you're such deep team with such important.
I feel like paying Grant is okay for the Celtics pretty much no matter what, unless it's absolutely
spend
egregious.
Money elsewhere. Yeah,
because you can't really spend that money elsewhere. So why does it hurt to keep somebody around that's
True.
proven to help you? Now, if he's terrible for the rest of the year and you really like are out on him, then fine. But I'm not really convinced you're going to fill that hole. That he would leave in any way that's going to be good enough. That's how you see teams fall from contention so quickly. Just look at the Warriors where they lost all those pieces from last year and they still have the championship core that's won 4 titles and they're 500. That's the type of thing that'll hold you down as a team that's trying to contend. So you can't really screw around with that, especially if you're the Celtics that haven't won anything with this group yet. You need to try and keep it together. They're all pretty young. Like they seem to like Grant. There's no reason to let Grant walk. There really isn't.
I agree.
Pay him. It might not have to be a 5-year deal. Maybe you pay him for 3 years. I don't know. Do what you want. But if you have success with him, then keep him. There's no reason not to.
I agree. I agree. You can't really, spend money elsewhere. Jimmy asking is Muscala's kind for next year, and like Landon said, he's on a team option, which is really good. A cheap team option too, 3.5, I think. Phoenix asking how's Horford holding up. Horford is playing very well. I mean, I don't know about you. I think Horford's having a good season again.
Handsomely. That's how he's holding up.
He's great.
It's so funny that Al Horford just is a completely different player than he was the first time he was with the Celtics, though.
Right?
Barely any posts up for him. Really hasn't been great in the post. When he gets the ball, he misses a lot of those turnaround push shots that he used to really make. But he's just become a catch and shoot piece. Stands there, catches the ball. He'll pull up in transition. He'll be on the break and they hit him on the wing. And he does that thing where he runs up to the line like Ray Allen and shoots the ball and it drops. Yeah. Imagine 10 years ago watching Al Horford and thinking he would do that. That would never happen.
It's nuts. He's completely transformed his game. It's awesome. I think Horford's saving a little for playoffs. I think this too. I think he should explode in the playoffs.
He did last year.
Phoenix saying, are the Warriors out of contention though? They have the best net rating in basketball with their starting group. This hurts them, but they've had a lot of injuries. They have had a ton of injuries. And their starting group is great, but their bench is god awful.
That's what helps you in the playoffs is your bench. You need that. Especially at that time of year when your guys are banged up after playing a whole season. The Warriors are already banged up. You need to have some sort of depth to help you get through those later rounds in the playoffs. That's where you saw him beat the Celtics last year. Grant and Pritchard really didn't play that well in the finals, and it hurt him. Obviously, the Celtics shot a bunch of threes at the end of Game 4, and that'll forever haunt me until they win something. But in the grand scheme of things, they just really didn't hold up well enough with their depth, and that's what cost them. That's why it went 7 games against Miami, or 7 games. Like, the depth wasn't there last year. That's why you saw them trade all the fellas for Brogdon over the summer. That's why you see Derek White getting all these extra minutes because of the depth. He's so good that he can be a rotation piece, but also score 27 points and dish 12 assists against the other best team in the conference.
And you've seen other pieces emerged as lower level rotation guys, which they may not get playoff minutes, but they're important for the stretch run and to plug and play in the playoffs. Sam Hauser's having a good year. Luke Cornett is a serviceable center. Blake Griffin has shown sparks at times, right? Like everybody on the Celtics roster right now can play minutes. They traded for Muscala, who's looked phenomenal since joining the team. So there is that.
Did you read the Blake Griffin article from Jay King today?
I didn't. I saw it. I need to
read it. Excellent read.
I saw the tweet and I knew it was going to be a banger. I need to go
chat.
Check
if you haven't read it, read it. Jay King, friend of the show, made fun of me. Excellent read from Jay King. Fantastic on The Athletic.
Love to see it. Love to see it. First, the floor is in here, hyped up. Phoenix saying, I feel like depth is a little overrated come postseason time. You're playing your guys 40 minutes in postseason. I think the Celtics proved that this is wrong last year. I think the Celtics lost because they didn't have enough depth. I think, what other teams can you look at in terms of depth in them struggling, right? Like, I mean, the Warriors regular season, obviously now, and as much as you say the Warriors can be a great playoff
Look at the
team,
Mavs.
yeah, the Mavs. But how great can the Warriors be in the
Brooklyn.
playoffs if they don't get in? They're going to get in as what, a 6, 7, 8 seed at best, right? They're not going to have home court advantage where they've been a terrible road team this year. So I think depth is underrated at this point, which is a bit
Just look at the
odd.
Nets last year. The Nets were top heavy. They had Durant and Irving. They were both healthy in the
Yep.
playoffs, and the Celtics ran them.
Yeah.
The games were close. It was a closer series than a sweep. Realistically, it was. They almost lost game 1. They were begging to lose it up 15 in the third, almost lose at the buzzer. Tatum makes a layup. Game 2, Celtics come back from 17 down. And after that, it was kind of a wrap. But those first 2 games are very close and contended. But Brooklyn didn't have the depth to keep up. It was just really Durant and Irving. You didn't get much from the rotation guys, and that really hurt them. And people were picking that Nets team to make the finals at the beginning of the season. And because they didn't have the depth, it hurt them.
There you go. Winfred, excuse me, saying, see, starting 5 have played 29 minutes together, and they have the best record. That's the difference between them and the Warriors this year. I agree. The Warriors' depth hasn't been able to help them keep up when they've suffered injuries, and the Celtics has. I think that's a great point you make. Brogdon, a big difference, absolutely. He's been super crucial for the Celtics this year. I think you just need a solid 7-8 man to compete, not some 10-11 deep bench group.
That's true.
There's
truth to that.
I think you need a strong at least 9 to be one of the best playoff teams in the league.
9's a good number.
Just look at all the great teams around the league, right? You can even look at the Warriors last year, right? You had that starting 5. You had Jordan Poole off the bench. You had Otto Porter playing big minutes. You had Gary Payton playing important minutes. And then you had Nemanja Bjelica playing some pretty important minutes in the playoffs, even against the Celtics, right?
Celtics. They put him out there to guard Tatum, and Tatum was like, oh, man.
Yep, that is a strong 9-man rotation. Plus, you had Kuminga providing you a little bit of help. Plus, you had Juan Toscano-Anderson providing you a little bit of help. You had an extra 2 guys there. And then you look at a team like the Miami Heat even last year, right? They weren't the best team in the world, but they had a lot of guys who could play. And
Miami had no
guys
business
who could play minutes.
giving the Celtics the amount of trouble that they did, and they did it because they had so many guys to throw. They're bringing Oladipo off the bench, who had some good games, played some good defense. Like, that was a team that was so annoying to play against. And I remember in the regular season, we talked about it. I was like, I really forgot how annoying Miami is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really don't want to play in the playoffs. And sure enough, they had him.
TBJ's right, too. Pritchard played a big role in the playoffs last year for the Celtics in game 1.
Against Brooklyn, he was big. He's had good games.
You can't play all your guys in the playoffs. Too much depth is an issue. The Celtics have shown that it's an issue a couple years ago when they had Terry Rozier and all those guys fighting. But
you need the right guys. You need the guys that are willing to buy in.
Having coaching might screw up in their 3 minutes without at least an 8-man. I disagree with you because we saw the Celtics have this elite 8-man group last year and it didn't work because if 3 guys off your bench are cold on the same night, which happened to the Celtics multiple times in the finals, it just doesn't work and you need extra guys.
Well, that
right?
and also
that's where the issue lies.
Having the extra guys allows you flexibility with matchups.
Exactly.
So you might not run the same 8, even though 8 is a good number in the playoffs. I think that's a good rotation to keep making sure your stars get good minutes, making sure the important guys are out there as much as you can. But if you're playing against a team like, let's say, Miami in the playoffs, right, compared to playing against a Milwaukee, your rotation is going to be different.
Yeah.
You have to have guys like a Blake Griffin who sits around and hangs out all season, but you can put him in there to play against Giannis and he can do okay. You can have Grant Williams who can do okay against Giannis and do a better than okay job defending him. Against Miami, you don't need as much size because they aren't as big of a team. So you might see Pritchard get run, or you might see a real heavy dose of White and Brogdon off the bench. It's not the same, but it is really important to be able to have that flexibility with your bench because it makes you more difficult to play against.
Yeah, I agree. Jimmy's saying just balled out for the Nets too. How irritating was that?
He absolutely did.
That was obnoxious. And like Landon saying, Golden State's depth was necessary in the finals last year, and I think that's what killed the Celtics. Okay, that's fair. Versatility. Having some sort of flexibility I think is important. And honestly, I'm not predicting the Suns' downfall there for you, but their depth is a bit shaky, although Josh Okogie.
I'm excited for the next month and a half of basketball.
I
typically don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I'm like, only care about the Celtics. Might have the binoculars out, looking around, seeing what's going on, who's doing well, who's not. Is Kyrie going to burn them to the ground? We'll see. They haven't won together yet. They're 0-2 as teammates, him and Luka.
It'll be fun. It should be fun. I've seen a lot of smoke saying that Dallas could try to trade Kyrie for AD this summer.
I
How
know.
fun
How
would
about
that be?
that, huh?
That'd be hilarious.
It would be kind of funny. I think that, honestly, do both sides win that trade? I don't know. I think Davis is, well, because he's made of glass, it's tough, but he's definitely a better fit next to Luka than Kyrie, I would say. Do you think so? I just think it makes more sense. You can have a
I
pick and
think
roll
so
with
too.
Luka. I think it
Having a
gives you a
big
nice
man,
presence down low,
the
but he should
defense.
work just as well next to LeBron, and it's not happening. Maybe it's because LeBron's older. Would LeBron benefit from being more of a big and playing more of an aggressive role
I don't
rather than
know.
having to do everything
I don't
and
know
having
that it's
Kyrie to
not
handle the
working
ball?
next to LeBron. I just don't think that Lakers roster is very good. If I'm being real with you, at least till now.
It's fine. Don't care.
Fist bumps for Francisco. Welcome in. I think you can be very top heavy when you have Kevin Durant and Booker as the core too. I think
You
I
could have
think
said that
plenty.
last year. You could have
I
said it
was
for the
gonna say.
Nets.
I think a lot of people have fallen into this trap, Phoenix. I think depth is more important now than ever in the NBA, right? I think the era of we have two good players and this is good enough is over. I'm not saying that Suns aren't going to be good. I do think they're one of the top threats in the West. But I don't subscribe to the idea that having two good players and some shaky depth is enough to win you a championship and make you a favorite. I like the Suns team. I think Chris Paul's good. I think Josh Okogie's played really well. I think TJ Warren can play a role. Bismack Biyombo has been fine. DeAndre Ayton's obviously still there. The Suns have enough depth, but I don't love the idea of two players is good enough. And I think the Lakers showed you that. I think the Nets failure showed you that. I think plenty of teams around the league showed you that having two good players isn't enough. And I think the Suns do have the depth, but I worry that, the bottom end of that could be questionable. But yes. Jimmy J saying Celtics balled the first 25 games. Middle was a lull. Time to turn it up again. I think so too. But I think the important part of that middle lull, somebody said it earlier in the chat, is that the Celtics defense has really taken a step up. Yeah, Jimmy J
Agree.
yourself said it. Top 5 in the league now. They're 4th in the NBA in defensive rating. Their defense has been absolutely dominant. And with this starting 5 back, I think they can get back to the point where they're just completely shutting teams down. And it wasn't perfect against the Bucks, especially considering you're missing half your players. But the Celtics played some pretty damn good defense against the Bucks outside of Drew Holiday becoming Steph Curry, right? Like they shut down
and to
a lot of
me,
things.
that's more important than making your threes. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you literally only shoot threes like the Celtics do. But in all seriousness, when you play defense and you play defense well, you're always in control of playing good defense. When you're creating good looks from three, you can't guarantee your guys are going to make all of them, but you can guarantee that you give a good effort defensively and you can control the game on that end of the floor.
There's this
and that
too.
makes you so much more dangerous.
Jimmy J saying I was surprised because Smart and Rob missed games. It's Derek White. I'm telling you, baby, he is one of the best players in the league.
Horford has done a good job. Luke Cornett has done a good job stepping
Phoenix. Okay, if that's your position on the depth versus star power, who do you have right now in a 7-game series? Denver or Phoenix? Denver. I know Sam's gonna say Phoenix because he doesn't like Denver, but I
don't dislike Denver. I just don't believe in him yet. Like I don't know. I don't fear Jokic. I don't fear him in a playoffs here. I don't. He's not. Who would you rather? Well, I don't know. You take Denver. I lean Phoenix, but
Denver.
I still think that's a tightly contested series either way.
You want to know why Jokic is so good? You want me to prove it to you? You know how we were talking about how Golden State.
I'm not saying he's not good.
No. This is a side point. You know how we were talking about how Golden State's bench is terrible and that's why they're so bad?
Yes.
You know the Nuggets have the second worst bench plus minus in the league. That's nuts.
Really? Well, it's because he's off the floor.
Their bench is a minus 155 this year.
Shouldn't that alarm you? Shouldn't that make them more comparable to Phoenix?
I guess. I think Denver's been that much better than Phoenix this year, and we haven't seen how Phoenix is going to be.
But there's a couple of months or a month and a half for sample size there, so that's a debate for another time.
Things could change. Like I could think it's Phoenix in like a couple months. I haven't seen them play with KD yet, obviously because it hasn't happened. And up to this point, Denver has been like infinitely better than Phoenix this year. Like it hasn't been close.
Yeah,
they're the best team in the West. Yeah, by a mile. So we'll see. We'll see.
Beat the Celtics.
Yes,
the Garden. They beat the Celtics.
The only thing I'm going to say is Phoenix winning because of how Booker, KD, CP3 can attack Denver's drop coverage. Maybe you're right. And like I said, I don't know because I haven't, seen it. But maybe it's a shot at Ayton. Phoenix doesn't. Nobody has an answer for Nikola Jokic. Very few teams in the league have a player who can successfully guard Nikola Jokic. I think Embiid can at a pretty high level. I think the Heat could probably handle him with Bam down there. I think the Celtics have shown the ability with Al Horford and Grant, but Nikola Jokic is maybe the best player in the world right now behind Giannis. It's
man,
tough.
I think it's Giannis and it's not close.
I don't.
I just think Giannis is just so crazy good and effective, and he can.
I think
really
Giannis is better
on both sides of the floor.
Effective
like Jokic
as
is
in
fine.
Efficient. Jokic is fine.
Fine is not a fair word. I knew it as soon as I said it. But like on defense, is he really crazy like that? No, he's not as versatile as Giannis is.
No, but he impacts winning it. And I'm not saying Giannis doesn't.
He does.
Jokic
does.
Is ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
The team has a good record. Can't crap on him too much.
He's averaging a 25-point triple-double on 63% shooting. That's absurd.
Triple-doubles just don't impress me unless like a role player does it.
You're ridiculous.
Hello,
Dave.
I don't know. The triple-double has just been like hammered to death. Like I don't care anymore.
You're ridiculous. Hello, Dave. Welcome in. Giannis has weaknesses too. This is also true. He does have weaknesses.
At least he tries. He does try.
What are you saying? Jokic doesn't try on defense?
No. I'm really taking a jab at Simmons, but true. At least Giannis like tries to get better. Like good for him. Like yeah, can he shoot? Not really, but at least he works at it.
I agree. Dave Dunk, legend, beast in the chat. Landon saying there should be 500 people in here too.
Should be more. Everyone come hang out. Who doesn't want to hang out with us? Look at us. We're having so much fun. And we're about to give you some free money 100%. Once I start typing.
Phoenix saying we saw what GSW did with Jokic and drop coverage last year. I agree, but I think it's also underestimated that Nuggets team got a lot better this year. They got Jamal Murray back. They've got Michael Porter Jr. back. I think he should be playing. Aaron Gordon's playing at a higher level. They have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope now. They have Bruce Brown now. This Nuggets team is a lot better than the Nuggets team you saw last year. We're all on board. Jokic is a much better player in the half court setting, offensively speaking. I think Jokic is the best offensive player in basketball, and it's not close. I think Luka maybe has a chance, but Jokic is disgusting, especially in the half court. But I don't know. Birkin saying, I admire Giannis. He shows everyone you don't have to be a basketball player to play in the NBA if you're a physical freak. I hate the notion that Giannis isn't a basketball player. I think it's stupid. Sorry, Birkin. Giannis is the best player in the world. Just because he's physical doesn't mean
the Rhode Island Sportsbook does not let me look at the lines anymore without logging in on my computer.
Can you not log in?
No, so I'm pulling up the iPad so I can look to see exactly what the line is. I got the pick yesterday. It was in very early.
Sam is struggling. Should Giannis have given up his all-star spot? I say yes. I don't think it matters.
Don't care.
It really doesn't matter. He earned it.
Let him be there.
Yeah, it is whatever.
Giannis, by the way, one of the most likable people like ever.
Yeah, love Giannis.
Thanasis, not so much, but Giannis, I don't know where the differentiation was with the parents raising the two of them.
Well, I think they're the same person. One just is good enough to back it up. I think they're the same.
I know. I'm kidding.
Let's see. I think Steph has a claim to GOAT offensive player due to how many he moves up. Oh, I was talking now. Steph is like elite, obviously. I think Sam had a mini stroke. I agree, Jackin.
Where did I have the mini stroke?
You were making all these faces at your computer. And
because I couldn't get on the sports book. I couldn't get on.
He can't dribble, terrible shooting form. Giannis has low IQ, Birkin. Dude. Sam, you need
is it far?
Help me out.
My earpiece work.
This might be the worst take you've ever had in our chat, Birkin. I love you, but
who's this? Giannis?
Yeah, he's saying Giannis can't dribble, has terrible shooting form, and has low IQ, so he's not a real basketball player.
I don't think he has low IQ. I don't think you can really be that good if you don't have high IQ.
Yeah, I don't really.
You can't be effective.
He can't dribble. I mean, he kind of dominates transition, so I think he can dribble just fine. Terrible shooting form, sure, but he's making more middies this year. He showed you that against the Celtics. Sorry, true. No, I just think you're wrong, Birkin. I'm sorry. You cannot. Yeah, no, I got nothing for you. Giannis is the most devastating driving threat since LeBron in 2009. I think so, probably. There we go, Sam. I've covered for you enough. Go.
All right. Pre-game pick presented by Smash the Odds. It's late today. It took me forever to find the exact line. Benedict Mathurin over 14.5 points is the Smash the Odds pick. You can follow them on Twitter at Smash Odds for daily free picks. And you can also subscribe to the premium service to get the daily premium picks for the premium payday. My pick, Tatum, over 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists, coming off a monster all-star game. Time to come out and put it all on the floor and put it together for a big game. He's been fiending to play after scoring a record amount of points in the All-Star game. It's time for the second half of the season. It's time for Tatum time. After the All-Star break, he turns up every year. The graphics out there where it's November, what am I watching? January, okay, this is better. And then after February, it's the second coming of Christ. That's just the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Marcus Smart over 6.5 assists is plus money for you. That. I think that's pretty good. I love that. Derek White over 1.5 threes is back. That's not bad. Minus 105. Grant Williams over 1.5. Grant Williams is over 0.5 threes, but it's terrible money. So maybe not. I'll go with Derek White. There is that. Phoenix saying, did you see the Booker quote today? We only had one All-Star. That's KD. That's funny. Called a super team. I think super teams are overrated in the NBA. I think you've seen that they don't really work. You need depth. Depth isn't the new way to win in the NBA. Anyways, it is 7 p.m. Game is starting very soon. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Looking to get yourself tickets to a Celtics game or other event, head over to SeatGeek and use promo code HBTC to save $20 on your first purchase. Let us help you go see what you want to see. Doesn't have to be a Celtics game, comedy shows, concerts, other sporting events, doesn't matter. You use that code on your first purchase. We're giving you $20 and you're going cheaper. All right? Don't say we don't look out for you.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Truth is here, says Dave. Thank you. Phoenix, like, comment, subscribe. Please do all those things.
I agree.
It would very much
help. You guys have been doing it. It must be working.
Yes. Please leave a like at the very least. That will definitely help the algorithm. Somebody earlier in the chat said Scal looks like he got Botox over the break.
Sunburn.
Can confirm. He does look like
I've been told I look like different. I got work done.
Very funny. I will watch the replay, fellas. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dad. We appreciate it. Mask Jaylen Brown makes his debut for the Celtics tonight. Go check it out.
Love the mask. Fire.
So very cool. Very cool. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube. We would appreciate it very, very much. Lewis used the SeatGeek code for Philly game. There you go.
Let's see if Raymond's right lying.
There. Absolute legend. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. You can check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook and Twitter at How About Them C's and How About Them Celtics. Most importantly, though, subscribe to the YouTube How About Them Celtics. Leave a like, all that good stuff, and we will be here 30 minutes for every Celtics game. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye-bye.